Hey guys, it's Goosebumps Completionist, and today I'm bringing you a Goosebumps talk type of video. And if you clicked on the video, you're obviously here to hear about 4 Sweepstakes Goosebumps stories that you probably have never heard of. Yes, you heard that right. Sweepstakes Goosebumps stories. Now, they're not full-length books. They're short stories when they are able to be read. 2 of them have physical release and 2 of them don't. The ones that don't, one was a book name that was supposed to be made into a book, supposedly, but never was, and the sweepstakes was never honored. Another title was won in the sweepstakes, and R.L. Stine actually wrote the short story live in person at a school for a group of kids, but there's never been a physical release of that one. And the 2 that have been released, one of them was a French exclusive over in France in a magazine that you had to only get in France. And it's released within 3 magazines over a course of probably a year. And the last one was released in America. And this is one, if you're from North America, like Canada, and the United States, this one's going to be easy for you to track down. So, without further ado, let's get into the sweepstakes stories you probably have never heard about. So, the first one I'm going to get into is a controversial one. Seems to be drama on the internet, at least in the past. There was some drama potentially going on. I don't know. But that's what the comment section is for. So, without any further ado, before we get into the stories, if you have any further information about some stories I'm going to talk about, feel free to pause the video and type in some further information. Or if you want to listen to the whole video and then type in information after, that's greatly appreciated. I'm always down to talk about this stuff, and I find this really interesting. And if you guys are interested, prepare to have your minds blown. So, the first sweepstakes took place in November/December of 1994. Now, I don't know if this was the exact date of the sweepstakes. All I know is this is the earliest record I can find online for it. So there was a Create a R.L. Stine book title sweepstakes, courtesy of Scholastic Network via the internet back in 1994. There was over 1,600 applicants, in which 11-year-old boy Jimmy Smiley from Glencoe of an undisclosed state. I have no idea what state Glencoe is, but there is some information that kind of hint that it could be Illinois, maybe. But I'll get into that in a minute. One with the winning book title, Slime Doesn't Pay. Now, before we get into the second part of this, has anybody ever heard of a R.L. Stine story called Slime Doesn't Pay? I haven't. So it gets interesting. Years later, about 20 years to be exact, in 2014 on Reddit, the brother of Jimmy Smiley took to Reddit to ask R.L. Stine on an open forum to ask any question you felt to the author. And he asked a question to Stine about whatever happened to the book title his brother came up with and was never released to his knowledge. Unfortunately, Stine never answered. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but there was also a dead tweet involved that supposedly got sent to Stine about this exact topic. And there seemed to be some drama around this one. So, before we get into what I found online with the evidence, so a kid named Jimmy Smiley entered a name and R.L. Stine book contest on the internet and won out of 1,600 applicants back in 1994 with his book title, Slime Doesn't Pay. Supposedly, as I'm going to get into the evidence, the title was going to be immediately put on an R.L. Stine book, presumably Goosebumps. But it never showed up in Goosebumps. As a matter of fact, it never showed up on any R.L. Stine book. So what happened to Slime Doesn't Pay? Well, let's try to figure it out. Okay, so the first piece of evidence I tracked down was from the Chicago Tribune in November of 1994, written by Judy Heverdage and Mike Conklin. And it's a little excerpt about some information that happened recently. And it's called Slime Pays. How excited was 11-year-old Jimmy Smiley of Glencoe, presumably in Illinois, since Chicago was in Illinois. This is where I'm getting that Glencoe could be in Illinois. So, how excited was 11-year-old Jimmy Smiley of Glencoe? when he took the grand prize in the Naaman R.L. Stine book contest. Jimmy quotes, "I just almost fainted, I was so happy." Seems best-selling horror author R.L. Stine, whose books in the Goosebumps and Fear Street series are a smash hit with the kids, went online via the Scholastic Network to get kids help. And Jimmy's winning title, Slime Doesn't Pay. So there's evidence corroborating this book title. And then it's brought up again in December of 1994 under the Chicago Tribune by writer Linda Mae Carlston, and she wrote an article called Title Terror, which reads, "When author R.L. Stine, creator of the popular Goosebumps series, wanted title ideas for his next book, he turned to his audience, the children who devour his works like Dracula sucks blood. Stine, the children's Stephen King for those who don't have a 9-year-old in the house, received 1,600 entries in his nationwide book naming contest. The author picked a winner and 5 runners-up, one from Lake County, titled, quote, 'You, Me, and Monster Make 3,' end quote, entered by Lauren Fishman, a 4th grader at Prairie School, Buffalo. Coming up with the title was a collaborative effort, according to Lauren, who said she and her mother brainstormed together. The winning title, Slime Doesn't Pay, will adorn the cover of Stine's next book, said Tim Vanderwerf, director of the Prairie School Learning Center, who coordinated the school's entries, implying that maybe Jimmy Smiley went to this Prairie School Learning Center, the same school that Lauren Fishman went to, since he seems to have some knowledge about the sweepstakes, since he was organizing the school's sweepstakes. But who knows what could happen to Lauren's title, question mark. At Prairie School, they are hoping the prolific Stine, who cranks out 2 books a month, just, quote, might need more titles in the future, end quote, Vanderwerf said. So this is implying that Jimmy possibly knew this Tim Vanderwerf and Lauren Fishman girl and possibly lived in the Chicago, Illinois area near Lake County, maybe. I don't know. Illinois. I don't know where Lake County is, so it's implied it could be Illinois. But I can find nothing else about it. And as we know, the story never was released. But years later, I found a Reddit thread that goes back to 2014 when Stine did an open forum for fan questions. And I found this comment a person wanted to ask Stine, and this is what it says. "Mr. Stine, always a big fan growing up. When my brother was young, about 19 years ago, he won a contest called Name an R.L. Stine Book that was allegedly condoned by you. The name he came up with was Slime Doesn't Pay. To the best of my understanding, you never actually wrote the book. Do you recall that contest or book name? We always wondered what the deal was." And it got an upvote. I don't know if comments were deleted below it, but apparently there was a dead Twitter thread that from a tweet that was allegedly sent to R.L. Stine about this exact topic, and it's unknown if Stine answered the question or maybe things got overheated. But the tweet is deleted now, so we have no idea what happened. All we can think of is that Slime Doesn't Pay was never going to get made, period. It makes me question this whole promotion because there's a similar promotion that happened a couple years later after this one where it's pretty heavily famous now, where this kid won a R.L. Stine Goosebumps promotion type of thing. And he got to tour the Goosebumps studio where the show was being made. He got to meet R.L. Stine, got to look at the props, got to do a bunch of cool stuff, won a bunch of prizes. And his actual real name was put into the Invasion of the Body Squeezers book as a character. So why didn't Jimmy Smiley's story, Slime Doesn't Pay, get made into a book using the title he came up with? I don't know. So this one could have been a Goosebumps story. Who knows what the story would have been about? Slime Doesn't Pay, talking about slime creatures and whatnot. It's a lot open to the imagination. Maybe it could have been like Monster Blood, maybe like the horror at Camp Jelly Jam, who knows? Anybody has any further information about maybe what happened on the Twitter thread, or maybe some information that you might know if you happen to come across this video, please leave some information down in the comment section. All information is greatly appreciated. So the second sweepstakes story I'll be covering, we're going to jump ahead to October of 1998. This one is the story involving where R.L. Stine went to a school and wrote this one live in person. So In October of 1998, this is where I found documentation of it, and I only found it one place on the internet. I had to use the Wayback Machine to find the information, but at least it's there. And I'll share all information for every sweepstakes story in the comment section and in the description of this video in case you guys want to look into this yourself. But in 1998, General Mills Fruit Roll-Ups and Parachute Consumer Products, LLC, announced Braden Thomas Gardner of Lacona, Iowa, as the grand prize winner in the Brain Juice Terrifying Title Contest, which was inspired by the then upcoming Goosebumps Series 2000 book Brain Juice, of the same name of the promotion. Braden received a prize school visit with his fellow schoolmates who also benefited from the sweepstakes prizes. Braden's winning book title, Dead Dogs Still Fetch, was written in person by Stein as an quote-unquote exclusive Goosebumps short story to share with the school. Unfortunately, the story has never been published for mass market. So there was a pretty widespread promotion back in 1998 from General Mills for roll-ups, where you had to cut something out, enter a book title, enter your name, where you live and all that, and you enter the sweepstakes, and the grand prize winner will have a surprise visit from R.L. Stein. They'll get a bunch of prizes, their school would win some stuff, and the book title they came up with was going to be turned into a Goosebumps story. But what happened was R.L. Stein turned it into an in-person short story. Now, what the story was about, I could not find anything about it. But I did find one article, and I'll share it in the comment section and in the description. Like I said, I had to use the Wayback Machine to pull something from the free library, which pulled an article from Business Wire in Minneapolis from October of 1998. And it's called Goosebumps Author R.L. Stein to Surprise Student at School. And it reads, thanks to a creative 10-year-old, the tiny town of Lacona, Iowa is celebrating Halloween a little early this year. Braden Thomas Gardner has been named the grand prize winner in the Brain Juice Terrifying Title Contest, sponsored by General Mills Fruit Roll-Ups and Parachute Consumer Products, LLC. The contest was inspired by the upcoming Goosebumps Series 2000 release, Brain Juice, created by Parachute Press Incorporated and published by Scholastic Incorporated. Today, Braden received his grand prize, a surprise school visit from the best-selling Goosebumps author R.L. Stein. Thousands of kids across the country submitted their scariest original book titles for the contest. Braden's entry, Dead Dogs Still Fetch, was deemed the best of the batch. R.L. Stein left behind busy New York City to spend the afternoon in quiet Lacona, Iowa, population 350. When Braden entered the gym to attend a school assembly, he was greeted by R.L. Stein and the school's 150 4th through 6th graders, all decked out in Brain Juice contest t-shirts. How cool is that? After Braden's initial shock wore off, he and Mr. Stein sat down with the students at Southeast Warren Intermediate School to write a short story based on Braden's winning title. So he and R.L. Stein sat down together to write a short story to share with the school. How cool is that, right? The school was presented with bonus box tops for education worth $1,000 for the purchase of needed classroom equipment, 100 new Goosebumps books, and a brand new computer. Then it goes into where Braden lives. I don't feel like disclosing that because that's kind of weird. And it goes to a quote where his dad says how Braden's just boggled and thrilled to meet R.L. Stein, and he's like, you know, meeting his idol. He wants to be an author when he grows up, and R.L. Stein's the most popular author to kids around that time, yada yada. So, this story has documentation, and you can probably still find advertisements linked to the Fruit Roll-Ups promotion around this time. And the kid, Braden Thomas Gardner, won with his book title, Dead Dogs Still Fetch, which he co-wrote with R.L. Stein for his school. Now, unfortunately, we don't have printed media of this story. I wish it existed, but it doesn't exist. At least to my knowledge. If anybody knows potentially where this story could be on the internet, maybe if Stein has ever brought this up, if you guys are uber sleuths out there, please share it in the comment section. All information's greatly appreciated. Alright, so let's jump to the fourth one, not the fourth one, the third one here. The third one here is the French exclusive sweepstakes promotion. Now, this one is going to be similar to the next one I'm going to be talking about, and the next one is a Disney Adventures Magazine promotion. So I will be referencing the American magazine similarities within the French one. Not much is known about this, but I'm going to tell you everything I do know about it to kind of maybe shine some light on this. So this takes place circa 1996, throughout 1996, with 3 different magazines in France. Throughout the course of a few months in 1996, a magazine in France called Je Pourquoi held a similar contest to the Disney Adventures magazine contest in America, except the French magazine's short story was exclusive to France only. Not much is known about the Goosebumps story promotion other than A, it took place in 1996, possibly skewing into 1997, or even beforehand, maybe it was started in 1995. We don't know the exact issue numbers, so we can't give all the dates. It occurred in 3 issues of Je Pourquoi in France. In C, the story features piranhas, possibly the monsters of the story. And I do have one little itty-bitty photo evidence courtesy to Spongy444 for this information. He shared the Goosebumps iceberg picture to me from his Twitter page, and this was revealed from, I guess, one of his followers who has knowledge of French Goosebumps stuff. And this little excerpt right here shows evidence of a contest for, it says, Concours Chair de Poule tous les gagnants, which is how to enter Goosebumps contest. It says results. I don't know if this is the one that shows the results. This could be the final one, but as you can see, there's a piranha on the bottom. And this was a French exclusive sweepstakes short story where they started the story with the first part, and then they submitted, probably announced the winner in the second magazine, and then in the third magazine, they published the rest of the story. So, maybe this could be the second one, maybe this could be the third one. To my knowledge, this is all picture evidence I have. Now, you know, if I'm ever blessed to find out what exact numbers from Le Bouquin this short story came from, if I had them in person, I would definitely make an English dub for the short story. And I also plan on making a separate video for a France exclusive Goosebumps book. That's kind of like a board game book mixed with like a story itself and has some cards involved. It's a really cool concept. I think it's called an American, or, you know, and I guess if the book was in the American market, it would be called like The Vampire House, or maybe they would change the title a little bit to make it more stand out. But that's what it translates to in French. If I could ever get my hands on that, I really want to make a video and talk about this exclusive French story, because the concept looks cool. It's like a board game book mixed together. Seems pretty cool. But yeah, this is all the information I can find on the internet about it, but it does exist. And it's assumably about piranhas. So if anybody out there that may know something about this French promotion from 1996 for the Goosebumps Finish a Story sweepstakes, please let me know in the comment section. We would all love to hear about this. It's really cool information. Okay, and now we're getting into the last sweepstakes story. And this one, if you live in North America, like Canada, you know, United States, maybe if you're overseas, speak English, like us, like UK and Australia, these will be something up your alley, because these are relatively easy to obtain. I know the second magazine in question is happened to pick me up a copy, but the first one I have yet to find. So, let's get into this sweepstakes promotion. It takes place from in November of 1996, and then it continues in March of 1997. So I brought up Disney Adventures Magazine when I brought up the French promotion. So obviously it takes place here. So Disney Adventures magazine had an exclusive promotion in November of 1996. The issue with, it's an iconic cover with Curly on it, where R.L. Stine started a story called The Surprise on the 13th Floor, where the contestants were asked to finish the story, and the winner's story would be printed in the March of 1997's issue of Disney Adventures. The grand prize winner was revealed to be a girl by the name of Cheryl Hotchkiss, and she completes the story in the March of 1997's issue. This story can be obtained in full by buying both November 1996's issue of Disney Adventure Magazine and March of 1997's issue of Disney Adventure Magazine, which I will provide pictures, which I have right here. So these are what the magazines look like, and you need both to have the complete story. So this is the first one. So R.L. Stine starts the beginning of the story in this issue. Has Curly on the cover, you can't miss it. And then right after, and well, not right after, but sometime after in March, as you can see, it says the winning Goosebumps story. This is where Cheryl Hotchkiss submitted the middle and end portions to the story, and it was published here. So if you want the complete story of the 13th Floor, I think it's called, The Surprise on the 13th Floor, you need both of these. So let's read a little bit about it. I pulled up some information on the wiki page to kind of show you guys and talk to you guys about it. So The Surprise on the 13th Floor was a Goosebumps story in contest by R.L. Stine, made exclusively for the magazine Disney Adventures. The November 1996 issue advertised a contest to finish R.L. Stine's story. Stine provided the opening of the story, and the conclusion would be chosen out of the entries sent to the magazine, with the winning conclusion being featured in the magazine's March 1997 issue. Contestants were tasked with writing a 1,200-word middle and end for the story. The winner of the contest was Cheryl Hotchkiss. I'll give you a little taste of the plot here. Jack and his friend Lindsay head to Jack's uncle's magic shop that resides on the 12th floor of a building. The kids board an elevator only to stop at the 13th floor, which is strange as the building only has 12 floors. The elevator doors open and Jack and Lindsay see a boy and a girl that look exactly like them. And that's all I'm going to leave it. And it comes with some illustrations here. What is this? Okay. So this illustration is also featured in the Disney Adventures magazine, where it looks like they're staring in a mirror at each other. So yeah, this one, Cheryl Hotchkiss won the promotion. She finished the R.L. Stine story for The Surprise on the 13th Floor, and her portion was published in the March 1997 issue of Disney Adventures magazine. And this one is technically a complete Goosebumps short story. So if you are a completionist like me, you're going to want both of these right here, and this is also on the wiki page. You're going to want both of these. So I thought that was really cool. I like this type of stuff, diving into the rabbit hole for like Lost Goosebumps content and stuff. If you guys have any further information about the Surprise on the 13th Floor that I didn't talk about in the video, please share it in the comment section. So that's all I have here for today. This was a fun topic to tackle. I love doing research onto this. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or any thoughts, please comment down below. Let's have open discussions about this stuff. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.